future Grandmasters, I'm going to be very direct. It is time to refute all insane things that have been said by Joe Rogan and everyone's least favorite chess player. I've been extremely disappointed that someone with such a large audience has failed to do any research, has failed to show any sort of journalistic integrity whatsoever. And it's been extremely disappointing that almost 2.5 years later, after everything happened, there's never been an admission of wrongdoing, despite my innocence being proven. And it's quite sad, I think, for not just for me, but for the entire chess world, that we have devolved into mediocrity. This is what chess has become. So let's react and refute with truth and facts.
Chess, because of social media, and it's like everything else, it's kind of exploding because there's so many fascinating videos out. And then, of course, there was like the big controversy with that young man who you believe is a big old cheater.
Like, Mr. Rogan, buddy, is that really, like, no tact, no research? Imagine you were a 19-year-old kid and you were accused of things you didn't do, and then you were convicted and tried, and like, how do you do this podcast and not realize that it's such an insane thing to say? Like, you know, I've been in official chess games, I've never cheated. You know, like FIDE-rated games, like this is insane.
I need to know the anal beads thing. Is that a legitimate theory?
Again, I'm like, it's impossible for you to watch this. How is someone who this is just insane? Is that a serious theory? Is this like peak intellectual thought that we're dealing with? Like, do you realize there are 2.8 million views? All these people have no idea about chess, and they see Joe Rogan, who they laud as some, like, you know, sort of like in the know type person, ask that question. Like, the complete lack of compassion to whoever, in this case myself, is experiencing these accusations is mind-boggling.
So it actually started in one of my friend's streamer channel that, like, one random guy made a comment about anal beads, and he was like, yeah, maybe. And then I think it started taking the rounds in Reddit, and then Elon saw it, tweeted about it, and then obviously it blew up. I actually spoke to, I think it was Mark Andreessen who said, like, that would be one way to do it.
Yes.
But I really, really, really don't believe that has happened. Like,
guys, this is not even something that should be taken seriously.
So unfortunately, this young man, we'll explain the anal beads thing, but this young man is a very talented player, but does have a history of some shenanigans, correct? And even admitted that he did a little bit of cheating in order to move his rating higher so he could play better players.
Yeah, I mean, he's not admitted to nearly the extent of his cheating, but if you sort of take what chess.com say, then yeah, he cheated.
Okay, so guys, let's break it down further. I understand the average person, you're watching this video, you have no idea. So let's break it down. Magnus Carlsen, his company was bought by chess.com for $82 million. That merger was being finalized when I won the game. Magnus endorsing chess.com's endorsement is quite ironic, not considering the serious financial entanglement. The one of $80 million, that's a lot of money. Magnus, so this was a stock-for-stock merger, meaning Magnus is a shareholder in chess.com. So don't you find it coincidental that all these accusations suddenly appear with no admission, no documentation, when their greatest star is defeated? And it's so sad that Joe Rogan, who has a great interview, he has the biggest platform in the world. His, interview with the current president had a quite transformative impact. Like, this is the biggest platform in the world, and on this platform, you're choosing to just like let some, I'm only 21 years old, to let my career be lit on fire by these insane accusations. Where's the pushback saying, oh, Magnus, are you employed by chess.com? Are you a shareholder? Where's the speculation? What's happening to the merger? Or where's speculation? Chess.com said likely. They didn't say that there was cheating. They said likely. They're hiding behind terms like likely because they know that there's legal exposure. You know? So the insanity of like these accusations that are magically appearing, which according to them all happened when I was a minor, you know, at the age of 16. This is quite an interesting, like there's no pushback. It's insane. So to clarify, in terms of the prize money that I won from my childhood indiscretions, it was zero. Zero money was collected. I was one tournament where I think I won $100. Money was never collected. And I was 13 years old at the time. It was in 2015. So I have apologized profusely. I take responsibility. I've suffered unimaginable consequences. But there are so many players who have cheated online in serious prize money tournaments as adults, and he continues to play against them. There is a long list of players who everyone knows has been banned and has cheated online, but he plays against them willingly. So this is, you know, the double standards are completely insane, right? So again, the very sad thing is that FIDE proclaimed my innocence, even chess.com found no proof or over the board. My over the board play, which is official sanctioned chess games, innocent, like the innocence is not even in doubt. And to say that I've improved this notion of I've improved, it's saying that I wasn't good enough to beat him then. So let's continue.
If you sort of take what chess.com say, then yeah, he cheated a bunch online in a certain period of time, partly in tournaments, but mostly in casual games, as he said himself, to sort of get himself up the standings and play the best players in the world.
But he is a very good player.
I think he has become a very good player, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So what made you convinced that he was cheating in that particular game?
Does Rogan like not research things? Does he not realize like wait, like maybe this like top American talent, like maybe we should support him? Like where is the patriotism?
Could you hear something? Was it like burnt?
like there is a time and place for comedy, but when someone's career and livelihood is on the line, to simply make a joke or something very serious is very disappointing.
I think there was a combination of things though, based on the chess level that I thought that he had and that I'd seen from his game, both playing against him, analyzing a little with him, and looking at his other games. There were a lot of stories back then.
Why don't you share, please? Why don't you share all these amazing things?
The thing is also there's a Netflix documentary coming in a few months that sort of where I'm telling my side of the story.
And that Netflix documentary, I also told my side of the story, and I'm really looking forward to how that turns out.
What I can say was that there were a lot of factors that made me very, very suspicious.
Suspicious or sure? Because suspicion wouldn't justify trying to destroy someone's life, dropping out of a tournament, violating a contract. You went to pretty far lengths. So if it was just suspicion, that would seem like quite the egotistical, maniacal conquest.
Ever since then, he has become better, but there's still something off.
And this is the most honestly disgusting part. Like, imagine you've continued this insane crusade, and I've been blacklisted. I have not received an invitation. Like, the damage that's been done is so insane. And to go on the biggest podcast while being criticized, and like people realizing that there's just no evidence, to then continue to sow the seeds of doubt is unconscionable.
With him specifically, I don't know. It was. It's just. He doesn't seem to be playing, or it didn't at that point seem to be playing with a particular style. It seemed that he either played kind of or he just more or less played any position very well in certain games. Like he could just switch from tactical to positional play very easily, and it was it didn't smell good to me. It still doesn't, but to some extent, like he had his lawsuit. We've all kind of moved a little bit on. I think I don't trust him. A lot of other top players still don't trust him. He certainly doesn't trust me or chess.com or Hikaru or whomever he felt wronged by.
Felt wronged by. The delusion. It is genuinely. I have no words. I'm sorry. Chess.com, Hikaru, Magnus. They're all working together against me. They all try to destroy my career. They have no evidence. There was never any evidence. I was declared innocent, and they continue pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. Their obsession is sick. It is absolutely sick. And the reason they continue is because no one even tried to defend me other than myself. Every single major organization refused to support me. St. Louis Chess Club, which is the premier American chess organization, pushed me to the side, refused to support a top American player. Instead, it's the only reason they've continued to peddle such insane accusations is that they've not felt any semblance of consequence. And this is just over the past year. I had to organize my own matches where I won all 3 matches. And then in the Speechless Championship, I beat Wesley So, I beat Maxime Berchier-Legrave. In the World Rapid and Blitz, I came very close to beating Magnus. Like I made it to the top 8. I was crushing all these stuff. Like I have been under extreme scrutiny. I have had to deal with something so unimaginable for such a sustained period that I assure you that any other chess player would have disappeared into retirement and they would be unable to play chess. But despite the fact that you have the largest platform in the world endorsing genuine insanity, but not just insanity, malicious insanity with financial incentives, like a serious conspiracy, I will continue to win, I will continue to improve, and I promise you all, I will be the world chess champion. And this is only going to be a driving factor, because for them to be so obsessed, for people who, this is one of the best players of all time, the biggest company, their billion-dollar company, for them to be so obsessed with destroying my life must tell me something that there is potential in my future, and there is potential for me to challenge them. And there would be no other reason why people with such money and power would make it their life's mission to destroy a 19 and now 20-year-old kid's life.
The problem is, like, once someone admits that they cheated a game, especially a game that has a lot of trust in it like chess, you're always going to think, like, is he cheating now? Always. But the question is, like, what method? Again, when you're discussing casual online games with no money involved, which I've admitted to those instances, and according to chess.com, there's been nothing since then. I would hope that if you make a mistake as a kid, you can move on. Like, what do people do? So if you're sitting there, you have no phone, your pockets are empty, like, what could you be doing that could possibly be aiding you?
Well, first of all, like an invisible earpiece that people use for exams and so on. Like,
but he would have to have a partner.
Yeah,
right?
He would, yeah.
Yeah.
That would not have been detected by the security system that they used at that tournament. They amped up the security after the whole thing happened.
Did they, like, check your ears?
They start checking our ears, and then we had a live tournament in Paris last year where I played him, where there was proper security, where all of these things would be picked up, and he didn't play to nearly the same level there.
Yeah. Okay. So Paris I played badly, but I beat Wesley So with a in-person proctor. It was online, but we had a proctor. Then I beat before that I beat MDL also with a proctor. I was playing the World Rapid and Blitz with all these same regulations, and how did I do? Right, I was actually beat. I was up 1.5, and we went down to the last game, which was extremely close. Right, so like we're playing, and I'm like one of the few players in the world that's competing Like this is like this sort of cherry picking. Like, oh, one tournament did badly. It is insanity. And any serious interviewer who cared about, like, you know, listen, he should be pushing back on this, and him not pushing back on this is doing like irreparable damage. And it's frankly disappointing.
So I think well, I'm not an expert in all of that, but
I'm not an expert, but you know, I make grand accusations, and she knows that he has no accountability. That's the worst part.
Well, it's such a competitive thing. Whenever you have competitive things, you always have people that just want to win at any cost, right?
If you guys want to get like super technical, I posted a video on Twitter of Magnus cheating in an online tournament. He was playing in a prize-winning tournament, and someone gave him a move, and he made the move and won the game, which is illegal assistance. There's also been many instances where Magnus was playing, I think, with Ariantari, and they were playing casual games on chess.com, and he was giving him advice. So if you want to consider, let's say, online cheating the ultimate sin that your entire career should be destroyed for, then Magnus should be included in that group, right? Because there's been instances where he's sort of violated their rules. But obviously, as an ambassador of chess.com, you know, there's a two-tiered justice system. Well, yeah, so this was, I don't know, really disappointing to watch. You know, it's like 2.5 years I've been fighting so hard to avoid all the blacklisting, the lack of opportunities, lack of financial support. It's like I'm getting screwed from every single direction. Like there's probably not a single area where I've received any support, which is obviously difficult, right? When these people have entire institutions behind them. But that only motivates me more. And as everything started, the chess will speak for itself, and it's obviously would prefer to just let the chess speak for itself. But I don't have tournaments to play, so that's kind of an issue. Like I would love to just let the chess speak for itself, not have to address all these things constantly. But the damage done is so irreparable and so sort of, it's like a global thing that I have to address it. Although I do want my content and the things I share to be positive and about my journey with the champion, about inspiring others to persevere in great against great adversity. But these things must be addressed. So thank you guys for watching. To all future Grandmasters, this is a tough video to make, but if you are all patient, I promise you all that the journey towards this champion will be fulfilled eventually.